on the gas, my whole crew are helpless. I want mine in cash, want it all, I'm selfish. Never gave a fuck, I'm bad, I cannot help this. Caught up in my ways, counting days till I'm fucking out this. Whoa, roll up 20 deep, little homie, belt to snap. Like, whoa, put 100 down and put us on the map. Like, whoa, y'all ain't even know the place I had to go. In my soul, lost a part of me, but I won't lose control. On the gas, my whole crew are helpless. I want mine in cash, want it all, I'm selfish. Never gave a fuck, I'm bad, I cannot help this. Caught up in my ways, counting days till I'm fucking out this. Whoa, roll up 20 deep, little homie, belt to snap. Like, whoa, put 100 down and put us on the map. Like, whoa, y'all ain't even know the place I had to go. In my soul, lost a part of me, but I won't lose control.
Hey yo guys, here we are again back into another live episode of our Gamer Nation, the gaming podcast, internationally produced and of course realized with guests on all over the world. I'm Lennox, as you all know, and here I am again for our episode number 10. So, you know, shout out to y'all who are from my YouTube channel, both not only my Linux channel but also Gamer Nation's YouTube channel. It's awesome to be back live again. And today I have a superstar from the NA scene, Raphael AYEORAPH. How you doing, man?
You guys doing everything's doing good. Thanks for introducing me. Lennox, how's everyone doing in chat? Hopefully everyone's good, man. Hopefully everyone's good. Thank you for that.
Nice, man. It's gonna be so good to talk to you. I just want to remind everybody that you guys, you're free to, again, hit the like button. Okay, it's free. You don't pay anything else to do that. So just hit the like, share the stream, and also follow us on both channels. Okay, And I'm sorry to begin it all because my voice is not the best now. I just told like Raph, I'm just coming out of a cold, a terrible cold, so I'm getting to 100% again. So I'm gonna survive. And also, you guys can tell us and can help us, let us know if like the image and the sound are good, if everything's looking neat. Just tell us in the chat. Some folks are saying your mic is too loud. I'm gonna fix that. Don't worry.
You got it. Okay. I can make. Yeah, thank you for that. It might be. Should be good. There.
No, I'm fixing it. Don't worry. It's
okay,
cool.
okay.
Now it's way better.
Thanks,
guys. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, when I saw the controls here, I was like, okay, there's something that can be fixed, but it's all tuned up.
Okay.
Ref, first of all, man, it's awesome to have you here. So thank you so much for saying yes. As we know, like you've been such a, I would say like such a consistent, even though like less mediatic, but like a very efficient player in a lot of successful lines that we have seen in the scene. So like I'm very happy to talk to you today. As we were just talking, right? We have been like having many of the NA references here, such as like Tectonic and also Jesus Save Us, Bolu, who was like obviously like a very good guy back in the day, but again retired these days. So it's very good to have you here, and I want to ask you how are you doing today? Like how does it feel for you this week after the challenge finals?
So it feels I don't really think about it too much because I'm so busy with my team grinding, trying to win for champs, the final destination. But sometimes you gotta take a step back to take 2 steps forward, man. You gotta really realize and reminisce. It feels really good to be able to win regional finals, man. It honestly, I never talked about it too much on broadcast, so this is the first time I'm really talking about it. I want to thank my teammates and I want to thank our coaches, everybody who had something to do with elevating our team to that next level. It was really hard. It was really hard and really rough journey, but we made sure to push through. And being able to be champions of North America and to be able to call ourselves the best team in North America is something I only dreamt of back maybe 2 years ago. So that the fact that it went from like a dream to reality is something that not a lot of things that you can't really do that too much, but it definitely it feels good in the heart, man. It definitely does feel good. So I'm feeling really good about that, man. It feels really good.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I want to explore a lot, about the challenge finals and especially the game you guys had against Status Quo, which was an amazing series, like six maps, out of 7. Are you kidding me? That was a great match to watch. So very exciting as well. I'm hoping our folks in the chat also like enjoyed that clash. And again, all of you guys who want like drop questions and question stuff, just bring it over. We're gonna be happy to talk about it all. But before that, I wanna start from the start. Like, how did you get into this gaming world? How did it happen for you? Because from for those of us who check like your career, you didn't seem to have started on Korean like a long time ago, right? I don't know if I'm mistaken.
Yeah. So as for esports, I actually got introduced into Call of Duty Mobile esports through 2 of my friends. One of them was Jaden, the other one was Henry. So with these 2 of my very OG friends, they were playing with this one team, and they kind of just told me, "Yeah, you should come through, Ref." And I was very persistent on not actually playing competitive because I actually was a fan of PUBG. Mobile.
Oh,
so
really?
it was yeah. I've never, by the way, played any competitive. I never really knew too much about esports. I only watched like esports. For example, I was watching CS:GO, a lot of like the more PC esports, but I didn't really look into mobile esports. So COVID came through and ended up actually like breaking my tibia. So I was on a stretcher, couldn't walk. You know what I'm saying? So a lot. Yeah, it's really crazy when I look at it in perspective. It's like, first comes COVID, and then I end up breaking my leg, so I can't walk. And I'm coming home, and I got my phone, and I got a new phone. And next thing you know, COD Mobile and PUBG comes out. Like, I mean, PUBG was always out, but they released the multiplayer game mode. So I was playing both of them, and I'm juggling. I'm like, okay, which one do I like more? And it was a really tough choice. But my teammates were like, my old, what I would call now, my teammates were like, yo, you should try playing COD Mobile. And that's when I started. And then that's when the name AYEORAPH came to be, man. It was all the way back. It was it was like a domino effect, you know what I mean? It's really crazy looking back at it. So as for esports, I was never really, I was there, I was around, but people didn't really know about me, not until maybe 2023. That's when my name starts to actually like bloom. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah. It was really a long journey, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's cool because like I was checking up, and barely like you have joined like 4 elite teams, you know, but no more than that. I mean it's a crazy short career, but yet very successful because you've been hitting like top 4 since 2022, I would say, and more like 2023 to be honest. So it has been like a crazy journey for you, and I like to see all that you know, all that drive and passion, but. Again, but before we hop into CodeM, you just dropped some nice stuff here for us to explore. When you said like you broke your tibia, I want to ask you more about. I'm sorry if it's like personal, but like, how did you do that, man?
So where I live, we actually have this indoor gym where it's instead of 10 feet rims, it would be 8 feet rims. So we would be practicing. This was also in the time where I was like really serious about sports. So I was never really a big fan of like playing video games. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't want to like for how athletic I was as a child. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in school, I just wanted to play sports. You know what I'm saying? So I've been trying my best to play basketball and stuff. So these nets, you know, 8 feet rims, we're able to all be doing like crazy dunks. LeBron, Vince Carter, you name it, we're doing crazy stuff. So this is one of those nights where I came through kind of late and I didn't stretch. Now, mind you, to anybody in chat, anybody who plays sports, this is something I always remind anybody from now on. If you're ever going to do any crazy stuff in sports, anything that requires physical activity, make sure you stretch, because that's something I didn't do. And I tried to go for a crazy dunk, and midair, my tibia just snapped. Like it was my right tibia snapped, and I didn't really realize it felt like a little cramp. You know, when you hit your funny bone, it's a little shock. So that's what it felt like, and I come to the ground and I'm shaking it off, and I try getting up, boom, I couldn't move, and all my friends, my friends IRL, they're like, oh my god, what happened? And they, you know what I'm saying, one thing led to another. Next thing you know, I'm in the hospital a week later, and I come back home and I get my new phone, and COD Mobile comes out, and I'm like, hey, might as well start playing COD Mobile. So it was really crazy, man. It's that was really a staple in my career that kind of like just started like the switch from esports or from regular sports to esports, you know what I mean? So it was definitely something that when I look back at now, I can't say, oh man, if only this didn't happen, that didn't happen, because things happen for a reason, right? I don't think I would be playing on mobile if I ended up like injuring myself, or if I didn't injure myself, you know what I mean? So it was really crazy, man. It was really crazy, man.
So it was like a how can we call it, like a physical accident taking you to an accidental like path into your life. That would be a way to describe it. I love it. I like how you took, like, you know, like, let's say an allegedly like totally not allegedly, sorry, but a totally negative episode, you know, and you took it positively, like, you know, okay, we can do that. Out of that, we can like do something nicer. So that happened. I'm sorry, like 2022, you said, right? Or
all the way? No, actually, it was all the way back in 20. It was before COVID, so I think this was 2020, if I'm right, or 2019. It was around 2019. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's way back then. So yeah. Do you remember the cell phone model or brand you used back then in the hospital? I'm curious now. Yes, an iPhone XR. That was my first device, man. This was back then when the XR came out. So I was really excited, you know. So it definitely helped with the pain, you know, with the leg. I totally forgot for a little bit that I broke my leg, and I was so locked in playing COD Mobile, you know. So it was definitely
very like, you know, glowy and distracting kind of game, right? Like fast paced. That's the best medicine you can have, I'm sure. Nice. Cool. Yes. Man, so okay, that's a very, like, I would say exotic start for CodeM. I think it's the craziest, like, I mean, the craziest accident I ever heard from a CodeM player in my entire life.
Every day CodeM players get injured, besides maybe the fingers. No, like, this is like next level, man. Next level. Yeah,
no, I love to hear that. So and then like, I'm assuming you began like playing the ranks and like getting to know the lads, and then you just jumped into Galaxia Gaming, if I'm not mistaken.
Galaxia Gaming is, I would consider that my first tier 1, my official tier 1 team. But if you want me to tell you about my actual real start, it was back with this team called Nature Esports, and there's two teammates, or two old teammates that are actually going into stage 5 this year. One of them is Chelsea, her name's Chagaboo, and the other one is Rayhan, so I'm not Rayhan. These two players were actually like my very first teammates from way back then, and not even a week into like joining their team, right? Because I believe I met them off rank, or I think it was like a Discord server, I'm not too sure, but I think a mutual friend brought me to their team. A week into like me playing that team, we played our first tournament, and we ended up winning. So that was like the turning point, and that's when I realized, okay, is this something that I really want to like do? And yes, that's really what I wanted to do. So I immediately started my YouTube channel, started posting and stuff, and then from there on forth, it was like a lot of what we would call amateur teams, so tier 2,
Yeah.
tier 3 teams, leading up all the way until I believe it was 2022, like late 22, and that I believe
Yeah.
2022 or 2021 actually. 2021 was my first amateur team. It was called F4, and that's when we were introduced into Mobile Mayhem, and that's when
Okay.
people started realizing who AYEORAPH was. Like that was my first quote unquote
Yeah.
prime. You know what I mean? My first quote unquote prime. From there on forth, though, what's really hurt me as a player and as a career was because I was 17, like I was 16/17 in that year. Mobile Mayhem just got into a contract with COD Mobile,
Oh.
like, official Call of Duty, so they had to transition into 18 plus. So I went
Oh.
under the radar, and because everybody knew my age, a lot of people were like, oh, he's underage, he can't play. So career temporarily underground, but I didn't stop there. It was really like a dark era for AYEORAPH, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't stop
Yeah.
there. I did not stop
Yeah.
there. I kept going, came back in 2022, and that was absolutely terrible. I'll be honest, for like the first 3-4 months, absolutely terrible. But at this point, like I'm playing on a very broken iPhone while I'm still on my XR from back in 2019 while everybody's on gaming phones and stuff. And shout out to Panzer, we joined this organization called Storm Esports, and he made sure to give me what is now known as the Red Magic 6, and that was where my career started to spike once more. And then come through 2023, the next thing you know, I meet Kings and Cartels, and we ended up joining. Jesus was there as well. Jesus was about to retire, but we made sure to bring him back into the mix for one more year, and boom, Simplicity
Ha.
3.0 comes into the mix. And from there on forth, Galaxia, but yeah. It was really,
Bro.
it was really up and down career, man. Very up and down
I
career.
see that.
Very up and down.
I mean, you've had a very interesting like path,
Mhm.
and I want to ask you more about that stuff of bringing like Jesus
Yeah.
back to life. That's very interesting stuff.
Yeah,
But,
it was really hard, but we made sure to like, we're like, come on, man, because
Yeah,
he's a really key player, man. Not a lot of players are like Jesus. He's a very backbone player for the team. He really keeps the mental in check. He helped keep me in check in 2023, and now that's my role for my team now. So it's definitely transition, man. Shout
yeah.
out to
So
Jesus.
let's hop into him then. Like because I talked to him, he was a very like humble and cool guy. And I would say like a very principles oriented guy, and I love that. When you're able to bring that into the game realm, you just succeed, and that's what he did. Like he looks to be a very like serene and consistent guy. So what did it mean for you, like partnering up with him and playing along with him, especially in Mayhem, right? Where I believe it
Yeah.
was like your major stage by his side.
Playing with Jesus, to be honest, he was someone who, like, as soon as the teammates, maybe it would be me, anybody would start to like tilt in game, he would just boom bam make sure to like keep you in check, keeps everybody
Okay.
in line. It's like
Yeah.
keeping the water flowing, and that's Jesus for you. In game, he had a very strong IGL core leadership. He was always making sure to ask the teammates whenever, especially he would go through to every single person individually throughout our years, like throughout our whole span of a year of playing. Like for me, example, because I'm like the most aggressive player, he would
Okay.
sit down and be like, okay, Raph, so let me know what routes you like to play. And then in game, we would practice, like, he would count down 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Coordination and stuff. It was really good. And then for as a player like Blur, who was considered a slower player, he would talk to them, same thing, you know what I mean? So he really took a lot more time than usual, like what an average player would take to develop, like being in a way on the same wavelength on every individual player on the team. And that's what really helped Mayhem in 2023. It really helped him out. Really did. It's really great player, man. Great player right there.
That's so cool to hear because usually you get references and comparisons from mates like, oh, he was the most aggressive, or like he was the MVP, he was, I don't know, the best, like the fastest IGL shot caller I ever had with. But then you just get to tell me that he was like a serene, like an organizer, right? Would you say like a midfielder for the team, and that was the cornerstone for the team succeeding. That's crazy cool to hear. I never heard that kind of I would say statement before, so that's awesome. So cool. I mean, he was a very, very cool guy also to talk, like I said. And what else can you tell about like Mayhem squad? Since I have just showed the guys like in the video now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because you have played with also with Kings, right, for a while. Not
Yeah,
only,
yeah, I've been with man, Kings and Cartels, but really Kings a little bit more has been by my side since I can officially say mid 2022. So we've been on like the same team. We've played against each other. We've been on the same team. So it was a really we'd have some like friendly rivalry. You know what I'm saying? We still do that, but that's like my brother. You know what I'm saying? I consider that guy my brother. You know, we'll have fights here and there, but at the end of the day, that's what makes you like stronger as brothers. You know what I'm saying? You just you shake it off. You unite. You know, so same thing with Cartels too. Cartels he's a little bit more calm. I feel like Cartels is like the more like he's the middleman sometimes, but sometimes like Kings, Raph, Cartels, people would consider that like the trio, and I can't agree more. Like I feel like we are a really dynamic trio because we're always keeping each other in check. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely like really important, and I'm really glad I met those guys, and I'm glad I can become like a successful player with successful players who I can consider like really, really close friends, because I tried that in 2022 and I tried that in 2020, trying to like go big with my day ones and like my friends, but unfortunately, you know, some people just have different mindsets, different visions, you know, so sometimes you can't succeed. But with Kings and Cartels, they were my really good friends, and we were able to win a whole regional championship. So like that's really crazy, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't happen every day you're able to like succeed with your like your day ones, you know what I'm saying, like your big friends, you know. So it's definitely really good. It's really, it feels nice.
Yeah, I like this vibe, you know, like I like the vibe of like feeling you're playing with or you working with friends or mates. That's totally game changing. And I wanna shout out to the chat, guys. Just feel comfy, right? Just because we're not reading your questions yet, do not feel shy or like, you know, sat to the corner. We're here. I'm seeing y'all. So thanks for staying with us and hopping up in the stream. I see my friend Grostatic from my Brazilian channel, Latest channel, which is like based, you know, to Brazil and to Portuguese understanding folks. Again, he's asking about the Chinese teams. We're gonna get there. I want to talk before about the NA scene, which I think, you know, brings a lot of interesting topics to the conversation. And just to begin about this topic, I have to approach how do you see NA these days? You know, we have just came out of very nice, I would say, challenge finals with new names when it comes to the squads, even though we keep seeing like the same legendary players, but like, you know, the rosters are changing. I see that NA scene is like making an effort, right, to come up on top again. How do you feel it?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So just to top it off, I know Blur, he's still one of my really great friends, even though we're on the opposite teams. He's at SQ. I want to, and with Tribe as well, people kind of, I think they kind of hate on NA because obviously with Vague's whole best in the West stuff like that back in 22 and then 23, getting quote unquote humbled, you know what I'm saying? I think personally, it was really, really great for entertainment purposes, but some people took it a little bit more out of proportion than what it should have been, right? Which causes, you know what I'm saying, us, the new gens, right? I consider me, Kings Cartel, the new gens of NA. We kind of get hated on for no reason, just because we're from NA, you know? So I really love to dwell into that question, man. I feel like NA this year, really hot take, I really feel like NA will make a crazy show this year, because you got to understand, you got Tribe Gaming, which a lot of people hate on. They were always minimum top 4, you know what I'm saying? In Masters, they came in third place. 2022, they won. 2023, they were like, I believe top 2 or top 3 as well, you know what I'm saying? So it's you have a team, and with the pickup of Band as well, I don't know how to feel about Band leaving SQ for Tribe, because SQ, on the other hand, they haven't really succeeded on a crazy level like Mayhem was in 2023, because I don't believe they were able to have their main lineup. But still, nonetheless, the players on SQ, the raw individual gun skill, their talent is absolutely insane, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think like Shisui, Zyrax, Puedes, when you hear names like that, it doesn't ring a bell for most players, bro, until you watch their gameplay. Like coming from like what I would consider their rivals, because you know what I'm saying, I'm playing against them. They are cracked. They are insane players, man. Like really, really crazy gameplays. But NA, I think we're gonna make a scene. I don't think NA is really that as bad as people make it seem this year, to be honest. I still think, I talked about this on stream the last time I streamed, NA, gun skill wise, I still think is top 3 in the whole world. I'm gonna be honest. But what differentiates NA from the rest of the regions, with which the East Coast You know what I'm saying? And even we'll drag in like South American teams as well. The teamwork, all that stuff, that's something North America is missing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna add just one more thing, which I just thought about. What makes NA not so strong, not until this point in time, is when you look at TLE. You have Zyrex, Puedes, Siwa, Shisui before the whole like the region separation happened. Those players were more than just a team. They were a family, which made them succeed, made them considered the strongest team in NA, which I honestly can't agree more with. Mayhem was the same thing as well. You know what I'm saying? Mayhem, we had Kings, Cartels, Jesus, Raph, Blur. You could even throw T-Bag into the mix too. I know T-Bag came a little bit later than usual, but still, he was considered family to the team. That's what made the team really strong. Tribe Gaming, 2022 Tribe was considered a family. I know they had some problems here or there, but they were still considered a family, and that's what made them strong. Nowadays, I can't really say for the other NA teams, it's really a family. It's more so a business. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at T-Bag kind of just getting, like, I would say backdoored, like kicked out, despite doing really good for his team and being a key player. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of takes a step back. The whole point of like grinding a team, when you look at China, man, they've been on the same team for 2-3 years. You know what I mean?
True story.
Yeah. That's what makes them really strong. Chemistry and friendship. You know, being able to bond together as a team, do more than just gaming, really plays a key part into gaming. You know what I mean? Like, if me, Kings and Cartels were not such great friends, it would create a lot of problems within the games that we can't even like think about at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I really wish NA, for let's say next year, which I'm really hoping there is like going to be even crazier champs here than this year. I'm really hoping, and I tell all the new gens, you know what I'm saying? I know Don's in chat. That's one of the like my favorite new gens player. I tell him, you got to make your own team. Make sure you grind up. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you grind up with talent, but also don't try to switch it lineup like just because somebody's doing bad, for example. You know what I'm saying? It's not healthy to do that. You got to make sure it's more than just a team. It's family, right? You got to make sure
it's family.
Yeah, that's really.
No, I mean, you nailed it. You nailed it. Like, you just gave us a lot of nice insights and a lot of how can I say, leads that also connect to other statements that I had from past guests. So again, Jesus Save is also told us about like how the NA teams are struggling to, let's say, keep more of a discipline on a daily basis and like to focus on totally into the game, eventually. And also, of course, building up this teamwork and having the resilience to, hold off and like, keep together whenever things go south, etc. But like, I love how you phrase it, as in like NA having still one of the top trading powers or damage dealing in the entire world. That's a very like bold statement for the moment, right? As we know, like NA is still like trying to, as you said, like puzzle the pieces and bring it all together. So I like this kind of confidence. I like how you build the idea here with humbleness. So I think it's true. I just think that man, when it comes to like to bullets and all, it's always crazy and hard to compare, isn't it? Because each championship we see different stuff and different like teams like stepping up. I mean, the Chinese guys, they keep being the hardest teams to beat, and that's where I want to ask you more a little bit about the Chinese guys and the Asian guys as a whole. So again, these days on Nexus, you guys, I don't know, have any specific preparation for any of them, or that does not exist?
So against Chinese teams, they are a really different region. The most similar team I can think of to a China team is probably Vitality and a little bit of Godlike as well. But to stay on the topic of China, Hardpoint, I'll be honest, at least for us, like we just played against a China team today. We played against AG, and I would consider them like top 3/4 in China. Hardpoint was really easy for us, but as soon as we opted to SND, it was not easy at all. It was not easy. And going against X-Rock as well, I remember we played against X-Rock and Q9 last week as well, considerably the best teams in the whole world, period. Like, Hardpoint is a lot more easier for us to play upon, because like I said, our gun skill is on par at the top of the world, at least specifically for LG, you know what I'm saying? Our gun skill, the team's really good, you know what I'm saying? I think people can agree with that. But what separates us from China is their ability to coordinate each other. It's like they're on the same wavelength and same mindset within the game. Not a lot of people in the whole world. It's very hard to play against them, man. It's very, very hard. So as soon as like we get into S&D, control, a moment in the game where you require teamwork rather than just individual gun skill is what separates China from the rest of the teams, you know what I'm saying? And I think Vitality is doing a great job at mimicking that. Because maybe back then 2-3 months ago, because Vitality is considered our brotherhood team. We scrimmed them. We made sure to help them up, because I remember nobody was gonna try and and scrim them the day before grand finals for their India regionals. We made sure to wake up 5 a.m. in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was tired on our team, but we made sure to help them out, because those are our bros as well. You know, that's our brother team. We want to see them in champs as well, man. So
Yeah.
the thing is, I was saying with whatchamacallit, with the gun skill can only take you so far when you're playing against a team that's able to coordinate perfectly. Vitality's making themselves to that level. Back a few months ago, they were kind of very different wavelength. You had Solo and Sam's, who was really, really fast, like me, and then you had Marvel and Tech, who were a little bit more slow pace, or Marvel and Joko was, and Tech was kind of the middleman. You look at them now, they are on the same wavelength, and their development as a team is actually really scary. People tend to overlook how fast Vitality's actually developing, man. So
Yeah.
that's something teams should really look into, man, going into stage 5. And that's something we're trying to transition into as well, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I like that question,
Agreed.
man. Thank you for that. It's a really, really good question.
No, I mean, I appreciate your fantastic reply on that, because
Thank you.
you know, it's always so interesting to have the full in-depth, you know, view from a player, a guy who's actually in there, you know, having the daily routines of trains and all. So you guys can only you guys actually can offer us you know, some kinds of replies. As casters, we try, you know, to grasp. We try to do our best. We watch the VODs, etc. But the players, they have all the layers, right? In a way, because
That's right.
again, you guys, you know, you live together, you work together for a bunch of hours to get finally to the stages. So it's tough. And thank you so much for the reply. I think the Chinese teams, man, they are on another level. We always, you know, phrase this here with our chats, because these guys are able to have a full kind of support on the back and just do that. So it's awesome to see them in the peak as a result of their own effort, right? And I agree with you. They just sink very fastly during the matches. And the NA teams, I would say that all the regions, to be fair, are striving to do that. The Brazilian lesson happened this year on Snapdragon Mobile Masters, when Galleries, right, had to face Q9. So that's when they could see, you know, where the actual Chinese level is. So that was a very interesting kind of matchup. Which takes me again to stage 5 last year, because if we're talking about the Chinese guys, that's where it all began, right? Their empire was stated on December last year on the stage 5. I saw that Team Mayhem was striving. You guys had 4 very hard matches, especially facing Latin teams, Brazilian teams. So I want to ask you, how did it feel for you having that kind of stage 5 after everything you did last year, getting into December, you know, and facing and struggling and, you know, being defeated and not surviving into the playoffs?
Yeah, that's a great question, honestly. So heading into stage 5, man, I'll be honest, from stage 4 to stage 5, the path to stage 4, being able to be considered the second best team in North America, was really good. It felt, honestly, every single person on the team, myself included, we felt so good beating Tribe 6-0 back in 2023 in stage 4. It felt really good. And then LG, we were always really, really close to beating them, but we just couldn't break that. It was never a mental thing, but it was just a little mistakes that happen within the game. The thing about LG, which is I think you could call them Tribe now, nowadays. Their experience was level 3, S tier when it comes to champs and when games that matter. You know what I'm saying? So their adaptability within the game and within the moment was way more better than ours. You know what I'm saying? We're just a bunch of rookies with Blur, who was Blur was a veteran in my opinion, because he played in 22 and he was he almost won it as well. And then Jesus as well. You know what I'm saying? So with that Mayhem lineup heading into stage 5. I think our biggest problem was I'll be honest, we were a little bit too overconfident with ourselves, which kind of made us slow down with the whole work effort. But to be fair, when you have a bunch of rookies on your team, the likelihood of them winning their first regionals, the last time I've seen that happen was probably back in 22 with Vague and Jez and them back in Tribe, when they won their first ring as rookies. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't happen every day. You know what I mean? So with our team, it was really hard for us in the moment to adapt to the phones too. There was a lot of things I could say, but I think it would just be excuses. So just being straight up, I think to be fair, we underestimated our competition and we paid the price for it, just straight up. So if you were in any of our shoes, I promise you, man, as soon as we ended up getting kicked out. We lost exclusive. We lost to like all these teams, man.
Yeah.
It was definitely heartbreaking, and we're sitting there, man. I remember after that night, we went to a restaurant, and Sylvia made sure to like cheer ourselves up by giving us like a chance to go to this nice bougie restaurant. We were sitting there like this, you know what I'm saying? We're just so depressed, just looking at each other, no talking. And I remember Jesus trying to spark a conversation. It was just let it be, man. I told him like, yo, we just gonna chill, man. So it was very like everybody lost hope in us. I was so disappointed in myself when we lost Masters. I swear on everything, as soon as I got out of that match, I'm listening to my coach for like 10 minutes. As soon as I was like, all right, yeah, I'll have a good night. I'm going to catch you tomorrow. Immediately went into the training room, 6 hours. I didn't sleep until 6 a.m. in the morning. From 12 to 6 o'clock in the morning, straight training room. I was grinding, I was vodding, I was doing everything because I was so disappointed. I was like, okay, bet. And when you have that fuel in you, you become one of two players. You either make yourself to become a great player or you break yourself to you just become shattered. And I made sure to make myself to become a good player. Because on day 2, I came back. I was locked in. We were down 0-2 against Truly in 0-2 control. Like, the fact that we did all that, we reverse swept them, and we came to Tribe, and we smacked them, and we went to LG, and we almost beat LG. I don't think there's been a crazier run than what Mayhem did in 2020, like earlier this year, in the whole world, in history. I'm going to be honest. I don't think there's anybody who was able to come close to what we did. You know what I'm saying? Just to get disqualified. Wow. You know what I mean? So another step back, you know what I'm saying? When I said earlier, you take one step back to take 2 steps forward. At this point, I'm trying to be optimistic, but we're taking 2 steps back. So what do? You know what I'm saying? We keep going forward. Me, Kings, Cartels, right now, the whole, and this, I know I'm talking a lot, but I just want to get this off my mind, man. Leading into this team, thank you, man. Leading into Nexus, right? What was Nexus is now considered LG. The reason why this team, you have Awaken, Jez, Cartels, Kings, AYEORAPH, you know what I'm saying? You have these 6 players who have something to prove. Every single person individually has had a reason to want to quit, but they chose to keep going. You know what I'm saying? With Jez just kind of getting backdoored, just getting in a way dropped from Tribe. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to do their own moves. To Raballo kind of like fucking up our whole team back earlier this year with the Rejects 2.0, which was actually going to be Tribe Gaming. You know what I'm saying? With Blur and Band. So he kind of screwed up a lot. He screwed up a lot more than what he thinks. You know what I'm saying? He screwed up a lot of teams. To like me and Kings, man, we were just sitting there really pissed off. Cartels kind of just said, all right, you know what? I'm gonna take a risk because he was in Seminole, but he decided to say, you know what? Screw Seminole. I'm gonna come to my boys, and that was a really big risk. Really big risk, because I'm gonna tell you, first day when we developed that Nexus team, we proceeded to have the worst day in our careers. We went like 0-30 in scrims, lost every single scrim. We were losing against the worst teams, losing against the best teams. At that point, when you're in our shoes, you would literally quit. You would want to quit, and we were just like, you know what? Screw that. We're gonna keep going. Awaken comes through, and then Jess comes through, Esther comes through. We start grinding. Next thing you know, we become regional champions. It's definitely like a looking back at it, man, and talking about it, it's a really historical run. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know Jez and S-Thug and Awaken weren't really part of Mayhem, but I still consider them part of the Mayhem run. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, because of me, Kings Cartels. Like, we've all been through a lot in the span of from beginning of 23 to beginning of 24. It's been a long journey, man. So the fact that we had a generational run, man. It's not even over yet. So it definitely feels really good, man.
Well, that's quite a track, right? That you brought, like a lot of details, and surely we can say this way, I guess. It's kind of a blend of generations, because when you look into guys like Blur, as you said, like it's kind of an old school guy from NA, and then you have some new boys. You have T-Bag, you have yourself, you have other players, but the whole thing here is like, it's how NA reorganizes itself like after the championships, which is something that was already like approached by other content creators, etc. and casters. But we always look into the off seasons as like a problematic, a window for NA. But again, I think now we're looking into a very like well balanced NA teams, and I'm happy like that you guys from Nexus, from whatever was Nexus, now it's Luminosity, but then LG, this new LG versus the status quo. So I think NA is gonna get to this, to the stage 5 in Atlanta, like a little bit stronger than we could see before. And I'm very excited to see how these gangs gonna, eventually talk and hang together, etc. Because
Yeah.
You were talking about Blur and about some of the big names on NA, and we usually need to see we not that we always see that in other regions, but like in NA usually we see a leader right behind a clan, and that's how things like sparkle up. And I like to see how these how these stories develop. So which is why I like appreciate you bringing all these details
Of
to
course,
us
man.
here. I want to give a huge shout out to LG Spartan. He's on the chat. He's actually on Lanex chat, but I also need to give an attention to our Gamer Nation chat as well. We have two chats, guys, because we are like doing a multi-stream in two YouTube channels. So again, just a huge shout out to everyone in the chat. I think folks are loving your details statements, man. But I like to see that because that always takes us to the next story or next step. I was before like trying to ask you about Latin in Brazil. So how do you see these days, for example, galleries? Like, do they worry you guys? And I ask this because specifically galleries is seen as the first super Latin team, like with Mihawk and Lucazine and other beasts out there. So do you guys study them a lot, or how does it go?
So I would say Galores is on the same level as we would consider like teams like Godlike, Vitality, like a level right below China, which is not in no disrespectful way. It's just that China is just like another level. Like it's like another whole chapter to really like dwell upon. But Galores, I consider them on the same level. I would like if we had to rank them on S, A, yada yada. I would consider Galores on A tier. Galores is like one of the first teams that developed, like you said, the really truly you could call them first Latin super team. You know what I mean? And they're a really good team. You have like a player like Lucazin who just makes things so easy for your team because the amount of kills you get, it's actually shocking. I talk about this on stream here and there. People ask me who's like the best player, who's the best player. I don't have a true answer for who the best player is. You know what I mean? But if we're talking about the most consistent player in the whole world, by a long shot, it has to be Lucazin. Has to be. There's no argument, no conversation, no debate. You can ask anybody in the whole world, they'll talk about Lucazin. Because a player like that, he's just playing against him, you know what I mean? I feel like he is like somebody who I've just come to accept, you know what I'm saying? Because every player has egos. I'm not gonna lie. I have an ego. Every single player has egos. And when you go into game, you're like, oh, I'm better than this person. And to a certain extent, I realize, okay, Lucazin is just that good. I'm gonna let my teammates take care of him. I gotta take care of his teammates, you know what I'm saying? It's just shocking how strong of a player Lucazin is. So he makes Galores like, it's insane. And you got Mihawk and Foke. I know Mihawk just hopped on the shotgun, and the fact that he developed that good with shotgun in a span of like 2 weeks is actually like that just goes to show how hungry a team like that is. Like they will go to that next level and start working their asses off, man. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at a team like that, bro, that's something you gotta like don't like doubt them. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say to be scared of them, but don't doubt them. You know what I'm saying? Like treat them the same way you would treat China. You know what I'm saying? That's for every team going against them. And then you also got Popzera. I think Popzera and Hen kind of get a little overshadowed by Lucazin, but they still do their jobs. When it matters most, they come through and do their jobs, man.
True
so
start.
like it's really like an overall really balanced team. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't consider there to be like a true MVP, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when you talk about the MVP conversation, it kind of in a way discredits other players on the team. I don't really like to have that conversation, you know what I mean?
True story, yeah.
Yeah, so I think like as good as Lucazin really is, I think everybody on that, it's like a star. I think every team is a star. You have 5 points that kind of like every like 5 angles that make the star what it is shape. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole team there, bro. Everybody's equal on that team. You know what I'm saying? Just putting it in like perspective. So it's a really good team.
I'm gonna call that the star concept, by AYEORAPH. Just shaped live, guys. Ladies and gentlemen. Just look at this buddy here. He's gonna be surely like a scholar whenever he's like a retarded pro player. This man has got the skills into debating. No, but I actually love this concept because that's just like you posed it. You would not have a Lucazin, I don't know, being able like to drop 60s, 70s, like if he didn't have like someone else like doing the dirty job, let's put it this way. I like it. I like how you see it because again, we're talking about impactful players but they are also playing in a team mode of games, so they do need their buddies. And that, leads me to the next question. Like, would you say that Lucasine, when it comes to being impactful, right? Because I see a very nice comment by Bezerier Amen in our chat saying that when it comes to solo skill, it's Lucasine. But overall, when it comes to a team XP, you have to talk about Tectonic being the best. So if you want to do the comparisons, fine. But I wanna know from you, like, would you say Lucasine is more impactful like than like any of the Chinese guys or Asian guys as a whole? Like, I know it's hard to compare, but how do you see this kind of thing? Who would be the most collective player that you have seen lately?
If I'm gonna be honest, from looking at champs and everything as a whole, I think the truly most impactful player, when you look at it from gun skill, IGL leadership, backbone player of the team, I think we got to give a huge shout out to Uling from Q9. You can literally just go to Masters of earlier this year and take a look at how Uling, he was number 3. How every player, you have 5 players on the stage, he was number 3, the middleman. He was literally the middleman of that team, the backbone. He made sure every single time. Like, I was watching the games too. You know what I'm saying? Lucasine was going crazy. Like, he was literally smacking all the SMGs, respectfully. Smacking all the SMGs on Q9. But there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? That's just how good that player is. But Uling and I believe Malky made sure, they did their homework. They went from getting, like, I think Lucasine dropped 70 kills on day 1 to Glorious getting 0 forward. You know what I'm saying? Against Q9. That just shows you, by the way, how crazy Q9 is. And China is as a region. They will make sure to literally analyze every single thing and do they will go to the next level, man. Not a lot of teams do that. So I think the most impactful player overall gotta be Uling. Because I'm still yet to see a player in the whole world that is able to fill, like, individually I can say Lucasine is the most impactful player gun skill wise. Jesus, from my experience, and probably Tectonic too, is the most impactful player when it comes to backbone / leadership and like just basically the captain of the team. You know what I'm saying? Real life captain. Uling is literally the most developed in all those aspects. I'm still yet to see a player who does all of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to give a huge shout out to Uling, man. People like really overlook him, but he's crazy, bro. He is crazy.
I think you totally nailed it, because one thing that totally makes me like put Lucasine on the roof is like his ability to be versatile on a variety of weapons and like be confident, to clutch it all whenever he needs as a sniper, but also like whatever he has in his hands he's gonna use to smash it on. So when it comes to to talking about and comparing players, we have to really be careful about those categories. We have to put them on the right shows, right, and then talk about them in this case into the right way. I like and I love how you put it about like Uling. We have a bunch of like nice examples about aggressive Chinese players in China itself, like as a country and region. It's crazy, right, Ref? How these guys swap so much the positions among themselves, like in a matter of months. And I'm saying this because, for example, Wolves guys, they just last year, they were like in a matter of months, they were like overshadowed by, I don't know, I would say Q9. But then like you see like X-Rock, you see like they're always like switching positions. So that leads me to a question like that I have thought about to make to you regarding NA in this case. I'm trying to make a broad comparison between China and NA. Like,
man.
So when you guys from Nexus, like, or what was Nexus before? When you guys have beaten Status Quo, for 4-2 on that NA finals, like 2 weeks ago. How did it feel for you? Like, did you look to NA and you said, okay, I'm kind of prouder now, or like, no, I'm thinking we're doing good. I think we're gonna be able like to get closer to the other like big dogs in the game. How did you see it? Like, how did the victory on the national qualifiers made you feel? Like, did you feel comfy? Did you feel already on the other hand like eager to beat like teams from abroad?
So, really like beating that and like leaving the VC, being by myself, I thought to myself, one of two things happened. The first one is a more bad thing. We got a target on our back now. Because seeing a team filled with a bunch of rookies, like I don't think about it as much, but a lot of people really still look at NA. Like as soon as we beat what's it called? Because we weren't really like the team that was considered going to be on top. That people still thought Tribe, people still thought Status Quo. Besides like the fan base of Nexus, people still thought we weren't going to win. So as soon as we won, bro, as soon as next week comes in, we're getting DMs from almost every single team in the whole world. Yo, scrim, you want to scrim? So
Wow.
in a way, that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because people look at you like, oh my god, you're actually considered like truly the best. But at the same time, you're on your back now. So you got to make sure when you're in that position, don't inflate your ego. Stay humble. You got to make sure to keep doing what you're doing, because as soon as you inflate your ego, you start to slow down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's when you become vulnerable. Boom, you start losing it. So that's definitely one of the things. The other thing, though, that really made us feel really good was being able to conquer our region is more than just a win. I know Status Quo wasn't able to play to their full potential. I believe that they had some team problems, so it really sucks. And same, I don't know, I can't really say the same for Tribe, but at the end of the day, no excuses. That's how I see it. There's no excuses. That's coming from me as somebody who used to make a lot of excuses back in the day. I've learned this my own path. You can't make excuses because excuses just slow you down. They just basically give you a reason. They literally give you a reason to deny the true problem at I'm saying at hand. So there's no excuses. Us winning NA regional finals was a lot more than just like winning against Status Quo. It was like we finally did it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of players who had a lot of haters. I know a lot of people hated on Kings, a lot of people hated on me, a lot of people like Cartels. I can't really say a lot of people hated on Cartels, but to be in his defense, I'm still yet to see a player who came, in my eyes, who came from like I always tell Cartels, I was a saying, you went from rags to riches. In other ways, you went from like tier 2 to tier 1 so quick. You know what I'm saying? He in the span of a year, he like went from being like considered a tier 2 amateur player to literally being the best player considered, besides Tectonic, being considered the best player in North America when it comes to champs, when it comes to LAN events. You know what I'm saying? And Cartels still holds that record. It's a very heavy record to hold, so not a lot of people can hold that, but you got to give Cartels for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I agree. And that's something also like confirmed by Hippo himself. Whenever he came like talk to us here like a Gamer Nation, he was, stating that that Cartels, he was brought. I guess he was brought like as an emergency kind of player whenever Tectonic was not able to get to São Paulo this year on April, of course, as a part of Seminole roster. So it was very clear to Hippo. He said here that Cartels was a guy who had his style, but then he was like, okay, I'm gonna try to shape you, to do something else. Just trust me. And then Hippo was really happy to say that he helped Cartels to get to another level. So totally, I mean, maximum respect for Tectonic, for Cartels, and all these beasts. I wanna just give a shout out to my friend Rods. He's here with us in the chat.
How you doing?
Positive is saying, Lennox, tell Raph, Positive is here.
How you doing? Don't worry, Positive. I'm looking at the chat. I'm seeing Levy, Amen, I'm seeing so much people down. Everyone's in the chat. I have been on the panel, so I see y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming through. Thank you guys so much for coming through and supporting us, man. See y'all.
That's very cool. Like when we have like our friends together, and I mean we are pretty much like a how can I say a competent guy. You seem to have a lot of friends as well.
Hey,
chat and love
this. It feels good. It actually feels good being that person, man. It feels good, man. I like it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Bessarian Positive, Esteban in the chat. I also wanna of course say hi to my own wife because it's my wife. I need to say hi to her.
Hey,
so,
how you doing? How you
doing? Yeah, Krista is here with us in the chat. Tyler is also in the chat. We have Ghost, we have Exile, etc. Folks are talking a lot in the chat. I love this. I love all the fuzz, all the buzz, and all the movement in the chat. So guys, again. Remember to follow us here in the YouTube channels, okay? Follow us also on socials. We are Gamer Nation GG the Boy OP, okay? So follow us on Twitter. I'm an old man. You see Twitter. X. Follow us on X on Instagram as well.
Twitter, whatever it's called, man.
Whatever.
Yeah, make sure to drop all the socials. Follow, man. You gotta follow your boy Lanex. Great. No, I'm honestly. I didn't say it earlier, but I'm really glad I was able to be given this opportunity to be coming to the broadcast, man. I mean, this is really to all the pro players. Anybody, you gotta come through. It's more than just talk to a person. It's like for the community. It's for the channel. It helps both parties out. You know what I'm saying? Because while I'm helping you out, you're helping me out. It's really good. So thank you so much, Lanex. Thank you to everybody in the chat supporting. I know Levy. I know I'm looking at the chat and everyone's roasting me, and I'm gonna talk to y'all about that later. But anyways, jokes aside, thank you guys so much.
I was gonna, some of your buds are like roasting. Like, you're gonna
they tell me yeah, too much, man. But that's the whole point of an interview, man. Come on, man. Come on.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, are you guys okay? You know, these TikTok generation guys are like just expecting, you know, like 10 seconds content. Hey guys, this is a podcast, you know.
That's right.
So, right.
Podcast, yeah.
Stick with us, and we're gonna keep, you know, looking into the into the inner layers of our game, and of course into CodeM itself. Ref, there's something very cool to talk about specifically now. Okay, the finals. I want to approach this game because I know we have like approached, like, you know, touched it a little bit before, but like when you guys played against Status Quo, we're talking about a bunch of games. To me, was like, it felt like a lot of chapters inside of a same game, you know. So we had everything happening in this game barely. And when I say that, of course I'm referring to Nexus opening up a 3-0 against the Status Quo, right? And then on the map number 4, which was supposed to be the wrap up of the game, like you guys, you know, Blur just found that 1v4, and then apparently he made it all possible again. So they reversed on you guys, like finding 2 maps. So it was a costy. You see, like, right? It was a costy kind of raid control, and then you guys, you know, made it to the top again. So what did happen? Like, how much did you guys like learn, you know, psychologically on that kind of downfall, or was it something that you guys were not expecting against them?
Okay, so being brutally honest, man.
Please.
Besides like the whole aim assist issue that I had, bro, like that's all excuses. Who cares about that? The real reason, in the moment, as soon as like I was saying, let's push him, guys, because people don't understand. I wish I could show the comms, but nobody recorded it while we were playing Tribe. On day 1 to playing Status Quo, I swear, like, I don't think I've been more like egotistical in the trash talking. I was literally laughing while pushing them in game. I was making jokes while pushing them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because we were so confident that we were gonna win. It was crazy until the control game. I'll be honest.
Right.
I was one of the guys who initiated. I was like, yo, guys, go push him, go push him. The next thing you know, we got humbled. Blur. I mean, Blur's that type of player. I've known Blur. Blur's somebody who, if you make a mistake, he will capitalize on that, and that's what we learned. So we were down on that map. It kind of took a little toll on our mental, a very tiny bit, but just for 2 seconds, okay, you know what, guys, wrap it up. Who gives a shit? Boom, bam, bam. We're back in the game. We almost won that. But you know, it was kind of tough. It was very, very tough.
Yeah.
Now heading into Summit was really what I would consider the map that we got like smacked on. You know what I'm saying? We definitely got smacked on something. That's something like people thought we were gonna win, but I think no excuses, man. Like literally, Status Quo just had the better game. They had the momentum in their favor. But as soon as that S&D came through, I believe it was S&D as our last map. We were like, okay, bet team. We had a little conversation, like 2-minute conversation. We were like, okay, 0-0. Let's finish this, and that's what we did. We made sure to finish that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, it was definitely close. It was definitely close. So to any future teams, man, amateur or like top teams, you know what I mean? What's it called? You could be confident, but don't be overconfident. And also, if you're down like 0-2, you know what I'm saying? Think about. I talk about it as the Mayhem effect. You know what I'm saying? If you're down 0-2 in the 0-2 series, in the 0-2 control, you're about to lose. You're at Point Nemo, man. You're at the bottom of the bottom. You either make yourself or you break yourself. So it's up to you what you want to become. You know what I mean? So if you're ever in that situation, in your mind, subconsciously, force yourself to think that it's a 0-0 situation and the game just started. I promise you, if you force yourself to think like that, you'll be a lot more optimistic about the game. Because being optimistic really plays a big part into having hope, which fuels you. You know what I'm saying? It elevates you, man. Really.
And we saw that, like, so we saw that not only in the game when it comes to going over the maps and finally wrapping it up in a positive note for Nexus, but also on your interview after to Glitter Explosion and of course to Infinity and to Ton, you know, you were talking about just forgetting, you know, whatever just happened, like whatever did not work, let's just roll over and let's just, let's just pretend we're beginning the whole thing again. So I like that kind of mindset. It helps you out. Because, again, it was a very hard control rate for you guys. I remember in the very last round, I guess, you guys were attacking, I guess, and you converted the B, but then, transitioning to the A was, like, a disaster. Like, you guys apparently got lost in the middle of the map, so it was not possible to trade again. So that's how they, like, capitalize. I like how you phrase it. Because that kind of humble as just gonna bring you to the top again, man.
That's right, man. You never doubt your opponents because it's all about momentum and it's all about thinking in the moment too. That's what makes a tier 1 team really exponential. I think China has that the most. They don't rely on momentum. There's no such thing as momentum in China. You know what I'm saying? That's like momentum is what helps you, like, you know what I'm saying, like, do your best in the moment. But there's no momentum in China. They don't think like that. They think, okay, bet I'm gonna play good like this. I'm gonna play good like that 100% of the game. No, nothing, and they do that. They do that.
That's true.
No other region is on that level yet, man. Which just makes them so good. It's hard. It's hard to break them. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
hard,
mentally, it's hard to break them mentally because I feel they're so, like, in a good way. They're so cold when it comes to inside the game. They don't give a shit about anything. You can like, I can shit on them, movement, this and that. Boom. They're not gonna give crap. Next life, they're gonna spin. They're gonna come through and just cook me. It's crazy, man. They got it. They got
the
it.
best
So,
man, the best example they provided us on this that you're mentioning now is like, I think it was like around they have just needed like 11 seconds or less than that to beat like Galleries on Tunisia Search and Destroy. It was just a massive, like, you know, a massive, like, I don't know, like, kind of victory by them. It was awesome to see, like the best combination you can have in the entire planet. Like, all the nades, you know, taking guys and like already again, when it comes to fighting like 101, like they just destroyed the Brazilians. That was quite a lesson, I would say. But yeah, so yeah, all that, I mean, nice stories. And I want to like move forward. I want to ask you about what is coming up next. So we're talking about a stage 5, which is gonna happen, as we know, like from October 4th to 6th in Atlanta. How are you guys like prepping for that? What is the feeling?
At the current moment, my team is already in, like, they're doing VODs and stuff. We're like waking up. Like, our sleep schedule as a team is so bad because we're waking up at like 4 in the morning to scrim China. We're going to sleep. We're waking up at 12 o'clock to scrim India, go to sleep. And we're waking up at 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock to scrim NA, you know what I'm saying, and like West Coast region. And after that, we go VODs, rinse and repeat. Like, our schedule is very, very, very crazy. But I know people are going to be like, oh, sleep is important. And we do take care of ourselves. We do take ourselves outside the game, you know what I'm saying, which allows us to like keep this consistent grind, like, schedule, you know what I'm saying, with breaks here and there. So that's like the biggest thing that's helping specifically LG out of all NA teams. I know Tribe is starting to pick up on it and SQ are starting to like do morning scrims, but we've been at that, like, we looked at Vitality schedule and we're like, yeah, this is something we're doing as well. So that's why us and Vitality, same wavelength. I will say Vitality's ahead of us though when it comes to like developing, like, because they're really lucky they're posted up in India, because when you're in India, people don't realize this, when you're in India region-wise, you have a broad expansion. You can scrim literally, that's like the heart of the COD mobile. If you put like all the regions on the map, India's at the dead center, it's the heart. So you're able to, with the exclusion of ping, you're able to scrim every single region, which allows it to develop really, really fast. Us, like, we can scrim China, we could scrim like West Coast teams, East Coast teams, but it's ping.
South America.
Hard. Yeah, South America. Besides South America, like North and South America, the other regions is really hard for us to really expand and play to our best potential because there's so many ping. Like, if we're scrimming India teams and like EU teams, we have Jez and Estek who are all the way in Cali and Hawaii, so they're playing on 100 plus MS. The same thing, vice versa. If we're playing China teams, and you have me and Kings and Cartels on the East Coast of like America playing on really bad ping. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just not being able to play to our full potential is really hard. Yeah,
that's cool to know, man. Yeah, I never saw it that way, right? Like, whenever you're on India, you're gonna be like on the epicenter of like a spot where you can literally, like, you know, scream the European teams as much as you can do against the other Asian guys. So this is awesome to know. No one ever told this like so bluntly, you know, it's like so like openly like you did. So I love this kind of perspective.
Man.
Good, nice.
Thank you.
Okay, and just to wrap it up, the final special question, guys. You know, listen up. Thank you all for the present so far, and, you know, thank you all for the questions. So I need to ask you, how does it feel to be, you know, inside of the Luminosity shows? You know, is it special? What is the feeling? It's quite a name, right? It's quite an org.
It is a big name. It's a really big name. I'm gonna be honest. I'm somebody who takes a little bit of time to acknowledge things because I'm so in the moment that I don't reminisce. You know what I'm saying? But now that you asked that question, I'm sitting back and I'm really thinking about it. If you told me this, like, oh, you're gonna be in Luminosity or Tribe Gaming like 3 years ago, back when I was like first starting off, I would have never believed you. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no way that's gonna happen, man. So the fact that it happened is like it's really I'm honestly proud. I'm more proud than I am shocked about the fact that we're in Luminosity. Like we earned this for how much like Team Mayhem, that core three, and the Jazz, Awaken, S-Thug as well. The 6 players, man, and this is also the reason why I was very firm on not switching anybody out the lineup. You know, is because everybody on that team has earned this. You know what I'm saying? We've had ups and downs in the team, but I made sure really strictly, no matter what, as soon as this team starts, we're not switching shit. We're not doing anything, because that's what breaks NA teams. You know what I'm saying? That mentality that, let's say, for example, let's say in a random scenario where AYEORAPH did really terrible in stage 4, heading into stage 5, if I was like an OG NA team, I would drop AYEORAPH and I'd drop like a player, for example, Solo. If Solo was still in NA, Solo is very similar to AYEORAPH. Solo would come through. That doesn't guarantee that you would be really good as a team, because you take a step back and now you're taking a risk. Is this going to be the same chemistry-wise, friendship-wise, in-game-wise? There's so many factors you gotta take into account, which will cause so much conflict and so much risk. Is the risk really worth it? You know what I'm saying? That was my mentality, and that was our mentality going into like the creation of Nexus, heading into like 2023 to 2024. We're like, okay, you know, and that's what made Mayhem a really good team too. We never really switched anything too crazy. You know what I'm saying? With the exception of T-Bag, you know, so. It's definitely, it's really good. I'm proud of every single player on that team making it to Luminosity. This is something that means really like a lot. So thank you, shout out to Luminosity for picking up, and shout out to Nexus too. You know, I don't know if Orbit's in the chat. We appreciate you being there for us. You know what I'm saying? Nexus was definitely a helpful name for the team. You know what I'm saying? The whole Next Up slogan was really what put us on the map. You know what I'm saying? And made sure. I'm really glad we were able to, on the bare minimum, win stage 4 with the name Nexus. So from there on forth, you could really throw that up. You know what I'm saying? Freestyle with that name. You know, it's good. It's good. It's good to see that. So we got. It's like giving a baby a treat, man. Giving a dog a treat. The treat for us is like LG. We earned it, man. We really did earn it. So it's really great to see that, man. So shout out to everybody on the team.
I mean, I just love how you appreciate the humbleness, like spirit of Nexus, and you just bring it up with your family boys, right? If we can say it this way, we can say it this way, because that's the vibe you give, right? Like my buddies, and then you guys just, you know, step up into a major org like Luminosity Gaming, definitely deserving. So. My bro Raph, you're my friend now, right? Okay, can I call you my friend now after this very fantastic episode? So guys, listen up. You all are testimonies that I already have a place to stay in Canada. Okay, so whenever I'm able to step up and travel all the way in the west to Canada, I'm gonna meet you up. Man, it was a true pleasure. You were just a fantastic player and also a fantastic person to talk to. I really love this episode. I have the feeling that our folks in the chat, they loved as well, because he was very like dynamic and also very rich when it comes to, you know, information and things to learn. So again, man, thank y'all for staying with us, and thank you especially, AYEORAPH, for taking your time. I mean, you know, the microphone is yours.
Hey. So thank you guys, everybody in chat. Big reminder, drop the like button. It doesn't cost anything to drop a like, you know what I'm saying? Support Linux. This guy's a great person, great platform for a lot of pro players. If there are any pro players in the chat, come through on the broadcast. You know, I know a lot of people are camera shy, but me, I don't give 2 fucks, man. I'll be straight out. We gotta do it, you know, because little advice, sidetrack, little advice to anybody in chat. What if you're really shy and you kind of overthink some things in life? You're not gonna do it. I'm telling you right now, people don't care about you when it comes to what you want to do. You do it yourself. This is your life, your rules. You live by it. You know what I'm saying? With the exception of obviously being a great person. But don't take that literally. Take that figuratively. You know what I'm saying? Do what you want to do, man. Because when you just hesitate and you overthink, that was somebody who I was a few years ago. I kept overthinking. It slows you back. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just do what you want to do, man. If you trust your guts, man, you'll be surprised. You know, so that's the mindset of a warrior, bro. But to anybody in chat, thank you to all my supporters. I wish I could name every single one of you guys, but obviously so much. So thank you guys all for being in the chat. Thank you to you, Linux, for allowing me to have the broadcast to talk my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, everybody in the chat. Make sure you go in and subscribe if you want to see some more. Recommend this channel to pro players. You want to see them, see what's up. You know what I mean? It's really a good broadcast. So thank you. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thanks
It
so
was
much.
awesome, man, and thank you also for being such a proud and not shocked pro player.
course,
Right? You are a proud man, not shocked to be where you are. I love that kind of sentence that you brought earlier today. So thank you again. Folks, for everyone who loved our episode here, I know, right? We still had a lot, to bring up and to talk and to reply on the questions. Like, we had a lot to talk to, or to talk about with Raph here. But, like, again, we just like to keep it short and dynamic, right? So that's for the best. So again, just make sure to follow us on socials. I'm Igor Linux. It's down here. AYEORAPH is, as you can see, like below his webcam. Just also follow Gamer Nation GGWP, not only on YouTube, of course, but also on all the socials. That was our episode number 10. Thank you all. Thanks, Raph, again. And, peace, bros.
Take care, everybody. Have a good night in chat. Love you guys, man.
Love you guys.